So, welcome to Savannah Community Headlines Live. It's Monday, June 22nd, 2020. Our visibility team with Carriage Trade PR streams live every Monday morning at 9 a.m. as a way to keep our community connected during this pandemic. You can join the conversation. Let us know how you are, what projects are happening or not happening due to COVID. So, think of this space as the water cooler talk with
Carmel.
My Andy.
Catalina.
Cindy, Marjorie, thank you so much for joining. We all miss seeing each other in a very small way. This platform helps us all stay connected. So you can leave comments below and we can pull your post onto the screen when we're talking. And today we're going to be learning more about the Matthew Reardon Center for Autism and Safe Shelter for Domestic Violence Services. Okay, so hey, good morning, team. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How was your Father's Day weekend? What'd y'all do?
Well, let's see. I'll go first. We just kind of hung around. We cooked out. We had some Low Country boil. I turned into Betty Crocker in the kitchen and baked some things, and it was a good weekend. What about you, my Andy? What'd you guys do?
So we went to my in-laws' house, celebrated Father's Day, of course, and June happens to be a month where we have lots of birthdays in our family. So my daughter's birthday is actually today. Next week is my mother-in-law's birthday and my brother-in-law's birthday. So we celebrated all of that yesterday because we're leaving out of town next week on vacation. So it was a birthday, Father's Day celebration. Kids were in the little kiddie pool. It was a nice weather, and we had steaks and mushrooms, potatoes. Great day with the family. How about you, Carmel?
I'm coming to your house next year. we had something very similar. Father's Day, got to celebrate with my father-in-law, Bill, and my husband's dad, and our brother-in-law, Donald's dad. We were with him and his wife, Julianne, who celebrated her birthday. So it was like a big family thing and got to see my mom and our daughter and her husband. And so it was just a lot of fun to be with everybody. Trying to socially distance still is a little hard, but you know, we're doing okay. I think everybody's beginning to feel how to, you know, navigate that world now.
Normal
with it.
Yeah. How about you, Marjorie?
So mine was really different. Of course, I was missing my daddy. I posted a wonderful video that Chris my dad.
That was really,
Oh, it makes me cry every time I do it. Well, you know, Chris is a major movie producer now. I mean, he has stuff. Yeah. So to have Chris Helton be able to create that in 2006 is just precious. But what was really fun is Catalina's daughter, who's 10, asked me to teach her some art. So we Zoomed late last night and we started off with contour drawing, and then she's like, I want more. So I said, okay, let's try to do impressionism. She's really good, Kat.
I told her, she asked me last night late. I told her, you know, I have to go to bed and you have to go to bed. We're doing the show tomorrow, so I have to get up early. And she's like, can you feature my art on the show? And I'm like, when you finish your painting, we'll bring on one of your art pieces. So yeah, she's very excited. Thank you for doing that for her. That's all she's talking about.
It was so fun to just say, okay, you can't do any brush strokes that are long. You have to do point, point, dot, 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 dab, dab, dab. And she followed instructions beautifully. I mean, it was, the first one we picked was a Monet. So
right, I saw that. She's like, Mom, I know all about Impressionism.
whoa.
I'm like, okay. So
I also told her that we have to listen to Mozart when we paint because it helps with the creativity. She's like, okay. So we listen to Mozart.
Well, she asked me already, you know, when you and I went to Chicago last year in September and went to the art museum there. She's already asked me like 10 times if I will take her because I showed her all those pictures. So I guess that's what we're going to have to do when they open up again.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we all had a great Father's Day weekend, and a lot of us are missing our dads. We'll miss them forever. But if you still have them, spend time with them.
We still have memories. That the memories are really important to think back on. over this weekend. I saw so many wonderful posts from people remembering their dads, and it was just lovely. It was a lovely moment of positivity. Right now we're a little stressed, some of us, and it's just lovely to see such a positive, side. Just a moment to think back and to appreciate what you do have.
Absolutely. Well, next on our show is Patty Victor, and she's with the Matthew Reardon Center for Autism, and they're facing some possible budget cuts. But Patty's going to come on and give us the 411 of what's happening and what we can do. So let's pull Patty onto the screen. Hey, Patty.
Morning.
Good morning, Patty.
Hi. Thank you for letting me be on. Marjorie, I didn't know you painted.
Yes, actually, that was my minor, and I got to study in Europe for 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
In Paris and London.
That's great. Yeah, so are you giving lessons to just anybody?
Well, I never gave lessons before. I've been posting a lot of pictures. Another thing people don't realize is that my very first business I ever started at 21, I was an art dealer. So
I didn't know that.
Well, I sold my mom's artwork, and then my mom died very suddenly. So I stopped that. But it's not about me. It's about you, Patty.
Yeah, okay, it is. It's not about me. It's about the Matthew Reardon Center, and it's about all the families and children that we serve who benefit. It's an exciting organization. This has been these last 5 years have been extraordinary for the Matthew Reardon Center, both from the standpoint of our schools. And we do have a year-round day school for school-age children with autism. We have now a preschool, an inclusion preschool. Georgia Southern University is our educational partner on that venture. And so we are offering excellent preschool for children with and without autism. It's a model that has been used for the last 30, 35 years, and it's great for all the kids. So we're very excited about that. We, of course, have our annual conferences and workshops that really do reach way beyond Savannah.
Your center, Patty, your center is like very famous in the Southeast. I mean, people apparently actually move to Savannah that with people that have with their kids that have autism, so they can attend your school.
Yeah, we do, and that's one of the things that we're hoping to do is nurture a relationship with the Army's Exceptional Families program, again, so that when our military families are transferred into Savannah, they have special need, children with autism that they know about as an option for them. So but to the state budget, we are very grateful. We have a large contract with the state that helps to underwrite the cost of education for our kids. Our kids, the cost of educating them for a school term, which is a year, that's 12 months, runs between $26,000 and $31,000, depending on the needs of the child. And that's because we provide a very small student-teacher ratio, 3-to-1, 2-to-1 for elementary children. We provide ABA therapy while they're there, which is applied behavior analysis. We provide their occupational therapy, physical therapy, a lot of speech therapy, because autism, of course, is a communications deficit condition. And so no families can afford $32,000 or $30,000 a year. And so the state contract has underwritten that so that we are affordable to anybody who needs to be in our school. No one ever is turned away because they can't afford it. Our board works hard to raise money, but this state contract really is the undergirding for the foundation for people being able to afford our services. We're the only organization outside of Metro Atlanta in the state that does what we do. And there are several schools in Metro, and their tuition is $28,000, $30,000. So we're really grateful. The Senate Appropriations Committee did restore 2/3 of our funding. So we're really appreciative for that. The budget now is in what's called the Green Door Committee, and that's where you're familiar with the budget process for the state. The Senate does a version, the House does a version, and then they have to make the two identical before the governor can sign them. And so the Green Door Committee is working right now to hammer out the differences between the Senate version and the House version. We are hoping for another increase. Yeah. But either way, we are really grateful.
So, Patty, is there anything that folks watching can do to encourage them to vote for it? Or, I mean,
yeah, there is. Thank you for asking. You can go to our website or our Facebook page, and there is a call to action there, and it will give you instructions. What we're asking people to do is just write a brief paragraph saying why Matthew Reardon Center is important to our community. And we even have the names of the 6 and the email addresses of the 6 legislators who sit on that Green Door Committee, so that you can send that to them. And we really appreciate it. We have collected a lot of stories. We're going to get them posted on our website at some point, and I hope you'll go back and look at a lot of sweet stories. We've had a wonderful impact on a whole lot of families and children. So
Patty, for folks that don't understand what autism is, can you talk about that?
I can. Autism is a neurological condition that impacts a person's ability to communicate clearly, and it affects them to the point that it disorders their lives. That's why it's called autism spectrum disorder. It's not necessarily a disability. It will become a disability for some people, but certainly not. Most people who have autism don't have an intellectual disability. They just have a communication disability. They find it very difficult to interact with other people. They don't learn social skills from each other like a typical person would, where we just sort of absorb what's going on around us and our brains figure it out, and we sort of learn how to communicate effectively. And so it's, if you think about it, there are sometimes some physical, muscular, small motor control can be really difficult a lot of times for people with autism. So you teach them to type, right, instead of handwrite. They just, it's wonderful to see a lot of our kids when they come to us in elementary school and elementary age are nonverbal, and to watch them as they begin to speak and begin to communicate, and also learn how to use communication devices. They learn how to, we do, our school does academics, and we do reading, writing, math, social studies, and science, but we also spend a lot of time on facial expressions, voice inflections, body language, appropriate ways to say what it is you want to say, as opposed to acting it out. Most of the kids, when they come to us, have developed behavior issues as a strategy to communicate. And so what we have to do is we really try to help them learn how to appropriately communicate, rather than doing it with behaviors that just draw attention to themselves, but aren't understood. So it's really fun to see the kids grow and develop, leave us, go back to high school. That's our goal, is for the kids to go back out into larger school settings. They come to us from the public schools, and we have college graduates, we have Eagle Scouts, we have kids who have grown up and now are adults and have families and jobs, and that's why we do what we do. Awesome. And that's why it's important.
Absolutely. So you guys moved a few years ago. Where's your center located now?
We did. This is actually our 20th school year. So we were founded in 2000. And we were always located in offices, office suites. And almost 2 years ago, we were invited to move to the school buildings of St. Francis Cabrini Catholic Church. Mm-hmm. And that's been a wonderful, really life-changing for everybody there to finally be in a school building with playgrounds, with lunchrooms, with large, spacious classrooms. We've developed a wonderful relationship with that parish. The people of St. Francis Cabrini are just marvelous. They are warm and caring and are interested in helping and in being involved. So it's been very symbiotic, I think, for both of us. Absolutely. We can't say enough about our landlords and friends.
Well, we certainly thank you for being on Savannah Community Headlines Live to share your news. And when you find out, let us know and we'll have you back on, okay?
I sure will. Thank you so much. Thanks for your help, everybody. Have a great week.
You too.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I think, dude, I should pull Patty back on. I think 1 in 12 people have autism. Hold on. Let me ask. No, hold on. Let me pull her back on.
No, 1 in 54.
That's still
about 1.7% of the population.
Wow. Thank you for clarifying.
4 times more boys than girls, though.
Really?
Wow.
It's very gender active.
My friend Anne, we talked about this the last time we had you on. My friend Anne has a daughter, Rachel, she's 22 now. She's autistic, and she was autistic diagnosed in the early 90s. And we were talking about you coming on the show over the weekend. And she said that a doctor once described autism to her as an umbrella, and that all the different arms and legs of it are like those spines and the umbrella coming down to a tip all the way around. And her daughter's had many labels placed upon her, but that umbrella with all the different things, there's no one way to really treat it. And I just now that we have you face to face this time, I wanted to tell you, in speaking to her, she was very moved by the last program that we had. Anne was about the Reardon Center, immediately went online to support you all. And she was a mom that she wrote a book called Painting Rachel. And she wrote it in the early 90s when there were no services really. Right. And just I can't stress enough for people watching how important it is to support this center, because I know someone for 20 some odd years who started this journey with really no support and really had to, fortunately, she's an artist, she's a teacher, she's very patient. She's very, prayerful, and to be able to navigate that journey with no resources is very difficult. And the fact that you guys are here and available now, people just really don't understand the level of dedication it takes to raise a child with autism, and the fact that you can help all these families the way you do is just absolutely amazing. I can't stress enough how important it is to support this thing.
And that's something I appreciate you talking about that, Kat, because one of the things I didn't talk about is our advocacy services. We do have 2 staff advocates who work with families whose children are not at our school. And so if you have a child with autism, or actually for advocacy with a special needs child, and you need some assistance with your individual education program planning, or implementing that within their current school setting. They don't need to be in the smaller setting like our school. They're doing well in their inclusion setting and the larger schools, but you need some assistance. There's no charge for our advocacy services. And the 2 women who are our advocates are autism moms, and they are fabulous. So even if your child is not in our school, but you have a special needs child and you need some assistance or some guidance, please call us, contact us. You can do it online, and our advocates will get right back to you. Our school is actually open right now too, just to let you know. We reopened on May the 5th. About a third of our students came back. The rest of them are still doing distance learning, which is fine, and that's effective for them. But we are up and running. So if we can be of help, let us know.
And thank you for clarifying 1 in 54 people are on the spectrum. Thank you, Patty. And we'll
thank you. Okay. Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, I'm so glad she was still in the backstage. So that's still 154 people.
Savannah, so lucky to have this school available in Savannah. I mean, how lucky we are to have facilities
Absolutely.
that you might only find in really larger cities.
Well, my friend that I was just talking about when we were talking about this, when they found out her daughter was diagnosed with autism, I mean, they're from Savannah, born and raised here, went to school here, their whole family's here, and they're both from large families. They really contemplated moving away because there were no services here at the time.
Now people are moving here.
Now people are moving here because they have this center. So it's really, like I said, I can't stress enough how important it is, because so many families are affected, and those kids really need those services. So
Patty could come on. We've got another organization that also has a huge impact on the Savannah area. It's a Safe Shelter, Center for Domestic Violence, and it's boy, they said they've been super busy. We're going to pull on the CEO, the executive director, and an actual victim, a survivor that went through the Survivor, absolutely. So let me get Cheryl onto the screen. And there she is. Hold on. Internet stuff. There we go. Awesome.
There we go.
Good morning.
Hey, Cheryl and Shauna, good morning.
Morning.
You guys have been busy. You've been really busy. I mean, haven't you seen an uptick since the pandemic?
Well, that's the thing. Our numbers are like historically low, and but the city and the county police report that their numbers are going out of sight. So our fear is that there are a lot of victims that don't know. First of all, we never closed throughout this whole business. We did teleworking with some of the staff. I was here every day. Some people were here every day. But as Tashana knows, we can't close, and we never will. So I think that's important. I worry about couples where there's abuse going on. Maybe they both lost their jobs. That makes the situation even worse. And for child abuse and spouse abuse and partner abuse, you don't have the eyes on people that you used to when they were working and the children were in school. And so that has all of us really concerned, because when COVID first hit, I thought our numbers were going to go through the roof. They never have. We're a 48-bed shelter. We're the largest one outside of the metro Atlanta area. And I think when I left the other day, we were at 20.
Wow.
Yeah.
So getting the word out that you guys are open is huge at the moment, because there's probably a lot of people that just haven't called because they think you're closed.
Well, they have a thing about, well, with COVID going on, I don't want to go to a shelter.
Right.
And that's fine. I mean, we do the best we can, but we are a shelter. We haven't had any cases, thank God, but we have an outreach program that's on Hudson Memorial, and you can get a temporary protective order there. Somebody will walk you through the whole criminal justice system, and absolutely they're wearing masks and they're practicing social distancing. So there is help available, and you can just call. We can put you in touch with a detective with the Special Victims Unit with the city or the county police. So there are a lot of resources available if you're just coming to a shelter. But I'm telling you, the shelter's been open for 42 years, and we've never had anyone in any of our programs killed by their abuser.
Wow. So these must be the inside living area of the shelter. Okay. Yeah, and I know you don't give out the physical address for a lot of reasons. So
right.
But if somebody needs help, they can go to, let's see if I can find, they can go to the website.
They can go to the website or they can call our crisis line at 912-629-8888. And it's 24 hours a day.
Okay.
7 days a week.
So Cheryl, can you introduce your survivor that's on the show and tell us a little bit about her backgrounds, whatever you're allowed to tell?
Well, I'm going to let her do most of the talking, but I want to tell you how incredibly proud we are of her. Tashana she breaks the mold. When people talk about victims, they picture some beaten up, poor woman with black eyes. This is a beautiful woman that is strong and smart and has moved on and is doing so well. And she is an inspiration to all of us. And I don't want to take up any more of her time. I want to let Tashana talk, but you know how proud we are of you. And thank you so much for the show.
Tashana, thank you so much for being on and telling your story. So this is
good morning.
Yeah. What was your first call? How did you reach out to Safe Shelter, and why did you know you needed to do that?
I reached out by phone, 912-629-8888. That was the number I used, and that was the number that changed my life. And what brought me to that moment was I was in crisis, and I wasn't aware of it until I didn't have anywhere else to go. And I moved here from New Jersey. I'm here alone.
Oh
no!
She'll come back on. She'll come back on. It happened to me last week. She'll come back on. So we'll wait for her to log back in. Here we go. Add to stream. Here we go.
There you are.
Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. All right, so yeah, I called the number, and I called around 11:30 at night, and initially I had a hard time because of the situation that I was in, and the woman on the other end believed my story. She believed me, and when no one else did, it took me a long time to find somewhere, especially since I didn't know that these particular places existed until that day. And then we walked in, and it was an instant relief. And these guys changed our lives and set us up greatly. And I'm proud of you guys too.
Did you come in with your children?
I have one daughter. I have a little one. I have two children. I have a 28-year-old and an 8-year-old. And I had the 8-year-old with me. At the time, she was 6. And we had the birthday there, and they took care of everything for her. And we were literally alone in the state with no one, no dependables. And Safe Shelter and the staff there took me in and my daughter and gave us everything that we needed to get out of the crisis that we were in.
Tashana, one thing you said that really resonated with me was they believed you. And I've heard so many people say that was my problem. Nobody thought that my abuser could be somebody who would abuse.
It took a while for me to even admit that to myself. And then I didn't want to, even when I did try to explain to my in-laws and to my family and friends, no one believed that I was, going through something so stressful and so toxic. And one woman, because I had called before, and it took a while, a couple of hours, and then another woman, a wise woman, I guess she heard it in me, and she told me, she helped me and told me how to get out and how to escape, and it worked like a charm. And I was there within the next 3-4 hours. And they took us in, and we took full advantage of the great opportunity that they provided for us.
So I heard a statistic that a lot of women don't leave their abuser. and it takes a lot of guts and a lot of coordination with Safe Shelter to do it successfully. Cheryl, do you want to talk about how that's set up?
You know, I think that's one thing a lot of people don't understand, and Tashana will know exactly what I'm talking about. People, when I do talks in the community, the first thing they say is, why don't you leave? Why don't you leave? There, to me, the more amazing thing is, how did she leave? That takes so much guts and so much, I don't even know, Tashana, I can't imagine, because you've got situations where this abuser has beaten you down, literally, physically, emotionally, has told you over and over again what would happen to you if you ever tried to leave. I had a client one time when I was in the outreach program. They didn't have children, and my client was making a plan to leave. Her husband got suspicious, so he calls her out in the backyard, and their child was basically their German Shepherd. And he said, I just want to show you something. And he shot the dog between the eyes. He said, this is what will happen to you if you ever think about leaving me. Now, think about that for a minute. How horrifying is that?
Mm-hmm.
So you want to know why she doesn't leave? I can give you a million reasons. I'll hurt your children. I'll hurt your parents. I will, I will ruin you. I mean, I can't even, we don't have enough time to go through the whole list. So the bigger question is, what can we do to make it easier for this person to get out and not question it and not put it back on the victim like, what's the matter with you? Why can't, you're smart, you're beautiful, you've got brains. What are you doing staying there? The question is, let me help you.
Mm-hmm. One of the things Tashana said a minute ago was when she called, the lady on the phone helped her with kind of the plan to get out and what to do and how to make that work. And it took a couple hours for her to implement it, but she was able to do it. I think that alone is huge, just because, I mean, I know somebody that's gone through this process in California, and, they were a member of like the Chamber of Commerce and in all the civic organizations, and they were pretty and smart and beautiful and owned a business, and at home it was just such a different environment, and all the things that went through her head were things like, what are people going to think, and what are people going to say, and are people going to believe me, and how am I going to do this, and what kind of impact is it going to have on my family, and maybe I'll just stay for my kids, and all those things. And the hardest thing to do for her was the plan to actually get out. And I think what Tashana said, just in making that phone call and having somebody on the other end of the phone being able to give her ideas and a how-to is huge.
That's one of the things that we do, and Tashana is the perfect example. We start doing safety planning with the first crisis call. And we do safety planning as the client's situation changes. She gets a job, she moves out. We do additional safety planning with her. And one thing I wanted Shauna to talk about, we're temporary emergency shelter. Shauna is part of our follow-up aftercare program. So when people exit the shelter, they have the option of signing up for this, and they can actually continue to receive services for up to 2 years. So I wanted her to kind of talk about the continuing services.
Tashana, can you hear us?
So with the transitional, that's where I am in now. The transitional part of the process, it reminds you that you're not completely there. They still provide, the Safe Shelter still provides those services monthly, bi-weekly, and they keep in touch with you guys to let everyone know that they're still here for you. The support is still there. And when you feel like maybe you haven't done enough, or you may feel like you're not, meeting the match, Safe Shelter is there to remind you that although we got through the high crisis, we still have a little bit more to smooth out when the transitional part of the program comes into play. That gives you the confidence you need to move forward, knowing that the Safe Shelter is still a part of your life. And it gives you the confidence to spread the word and to help others and to move them forward to get out of their situations. And once they see what the Safe Shelter has done for us, then of course we will want others to visit and go by there and check them out.
Absolutely. So do you feel safe with your person that you've gotten away from? I mean, has that person gone to jail, or, I mean, how do you navigate that? Yeah, internet. Gail, do you know the update on that?
Oh, wait, there we go.
She's back.
Tashana? Tashana, can you hear me now?
I think her internet connection is
going in and out.
Patty, do you know the statistics on that, or I'm sorry. She left again. Do you know the statistics on that about, or like what the general circumstances are for a lot of people along the lines of how to, when their abuser is still out there, like how do they navigate those things?
That's why we offer the temporary protective orders. I think if somebody takes advantage of getting out of the situation, coming into the shelter, being physically safe, we offer a temporary protective order, which is a 12-month order that basically says the abusive party cannot come 500 yards near you, cannot have any kind of contact with you. And if they do, they can be brought up for contempt, and they can actually be charged with aggravated stalking, which is a felony. Mm-hmm. And so when you bring in the physical shelter, you're working with a specialized special victims unit detective that'll help you prosecute the case. The district attorney's office has assistant DAs that do nothing but prosecute domestic violence and sexual assault cases. You have this amazing team. You have advocates, you have detectives, you have highly trained assistant district attorneys. It's amazing. And everybody is just as passionate and committed. Everybody's talking to each other. So every person that comes to us has the ability to have this network put around them. And I think everything that you do along the way is making you safer from that abuser.
So I've got a question for both of you. What are some of the signs that that somebody's being abused? I mean, and then how would you approach that person?
What was it for you, Tashana?
For me, it was for me personally, it was lack of motivation. Yes, I worked every day. Was killed. I work hard. I worked 60 hours a week, but I believe that was because I felt more safe at work than I did at home. So that was one of the signs, when you rather be at work or in a different location than at your own house. Mood was another thing for me. That was it was terrible because you're fine one minute and then you're not, and that can cause a lot of stress, and that can cause your family to suffer when when you're not well. The stress that you have can cause you to miss work, you not take care of your children, so your children can be an indicator that you're in a toxic and abusive status. Your children they don't look good, they don't feel well. When we left, within like 3 days, my daughter's breathing changed, and so that was affecting our physical health. Not being able to sleep properly and eat well. That was another thing that because the not knowing and the shocks of, you know, the devastations of the things that were being done is what causes you to like draw back, and then you turn into, you know, just a toxic little ball. So that, and you know, the bruises, I personally didn't have any physical outward. So that was why it was hard for everyone to understand that I was in an abusive relationship. And so it was hard to identify. But how I identify them, you can see it in their eyes. You can see the hurt and the pain. You can tell that they're ready to go. And you can tell that they just need someone to tap them on the shoulder and say, safe shelter, that way. And that will help them get out of, you know, that immediate fire, hot water that they're in. So those are just some of the signs. You know, a lot of crying, very upset, not stabilizing. When we're having just a normal, you know, coffee break or, you know, water cooler talk, and that, you know, we're not stable in our conversations, and you can feel and see, you can feel other people's energies as well. So those are some of the ways I can tell. And then I'm a server. I work at the Waffle House at the airport. And I run into a lot of different people from across the country in and out of the country. And I notice a lot of different scenarios where I can identify that there are women having issues with their partners. So I always send that, you know, it's like a sister thing. You can tell who is who after you lived it and learned it and moved forward. You can tell someone's in crisis by just having 2 words with them. They can say something to you and they can put that little help, you know, I need help. And that's what I do all day. I probably run into 1,000 people a day, and I make sure I pass along, you know, I understand what's going on. I see what you have, and let me give you something. And it's something that the Safe Shelter gave me. And that was inspiration. So those are the ways I can tell that someone has been in non-abusive, non-physical abusive, because the physical is always obvious. But when you have someone that's afraid to talk and afraid to tell their friends, or if they do, they don't believe them, or they cut you off, or abandon. That's not what the person needs at that time. Absolutely. And if they're reaching out, obviously they have a little bit of strength left to let someone know. Well, so if you see anyone that looks a little weary, just ask them if they're all right. It's not all about COVID.
That's right. There's a lot going on this planet right now. Gosh, so thank you so much for sharing your story. I know Safe Shelter is also seeking funds at this point. Cheryl, how do people donate to this amazing cause that's so needed in this community?
You know, COVID has affected all of us in so many different ways. And for us, we have an annual giving gala that on one hand is good because it's grown to the point where it was our major fundraiser.
Yeah.
Now we normally have it in November. We're not going to be able to have it. And so I'm not going to say panic time, but it's kind of panic time. Last year, we provided services to 1,332 people.
No.
So that's a lot. And yes, we get state and federal grants, but they only cover so much, and they're very specific about what they'll cover. We've had other fundraisers. One that I always love at the Presbyterian Church on Skidaway, when they do the shredding event. And that's something that has grown to sometimes, $16,000, $15,000. Yeah. So we're not getting any of those. And there have been a lot of smaller fundraisers throughout the year that are just not going to be possible now. So it's very serious. The governor had to balance his budget. And so our funds are going to be cut from the state by 11%. That's a lot.
Well, I know it's a it's a hard time for everybody on this planet right now. But if anybody watching can help and make a donation to Safe Shelter, it's a really crucial organization that needs your help right now. So,
and
we,
Sherry,
we are a 501c3 and we're a United Way agency. And I promise you, if you think, well, I can't afford it, I get just as excited about a $20 donation as I do a $200 million donation because it adds up. I mean, that's money that we didn't have before.
yes.
And a lot of people have been very generous in donating. The only donations we're taking now are cleaning supplies, masks, and things like that. But it's tremendous because we don't have to buy those things now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, if anybody's watching can help Safe Shelter, please connect with Carol Branch out at Safe Shelter. We've got the information below. And we want to thank you so much for taking time, Tashana, to tell your story. And Carol, I know how busy you are with what you work with every day. So thank you for being on Savannah Community Headlines.
Thank you so much for having us. I really, really appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. Take care. We'd love to get an update down the road, okay?
All right.
Okay, see you soon. All right, bye-bye.
Wow.
Wow.
One of the things Cheryl said that she said that they provide services, and just my personal opinion is what they do provide services, but they actually save lives as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, people think, oh, well, they provide services for women of domestic violence. They save lives. They provide those women with an escape. And with a plan, and I just what they do. I wish, I hate that they even have to be there, but I'm glad that they are a safety net for all those women that need that help.
And it's there's no economic or everyone can be affected. And I can guarantee the 4 people on the screen, we probably are very aware of several folks in our family.
And there's people that the 4 of us know right now that are in that situation, and we don't even know it.
Yeah. Well, I know my mother, her first marriage, it was a very physically abusive situation, and she was afraid to leave because he threatened her, and she had small children, and she didn't want to break up her family. So there's a lot of women out there that are in that situation, and they're just scared, and they would rather just stay in that situation rather than break the family. And I think they're afraid of the unknown, like what's going to happen. And Safe Shelter seems to have every aspect to support them and to be there for them.
Right.
Well, I'm glad you showed the shelter, because a lot of people have some preconceived notions as to what a shelter looks like. And that doesn't look like any shelter that like in my head. I have a picture of what a shelter looks like. And that looked like a really nice living space. It didn't look like, I think of a shelter sometimes almost like dormitory, jail cell type, very Salvation Army, World War II cot type scenario.
Or like hurricane, everybody goes there for the hurricane.
During a hurricane. That's what I have in my head. Not that those are bad places, but that's kind of the visual that I have in my head. And that looked like a very nice, comfortable living space. So
been around for so long, and they've done such good work, and it's up to all of us to help them continue to do that great work that they're doing and support these women, and I suppose men sometimes that need help. And they're so brave. Like Tashana, how brave you must be to leave a situation where you're being threatened or your children are being threatened, and you have to leave for the unknown. But I can guarantee you, not one of those people who've left would ever want to go back.
Yeah.
SafeShelter.org.
You know what, guys? I forgot to talk about Cadbury. Oh my
God.
Cadbury, Coastal Pet Rescue. Oh, she still hasn't been adopted. And I would love to find out from Lisa Scarborough if Hippie, the 13-year-old female German Shepherd has been adopted yet. So anyhow, this little guy.
Face. Look at that face.
He needs.
Adorable.
This is Cadbury. She's called Lisa Scarborough at Coastal Pet Rescue. Meow. She needs help.
Well, real quick before we wrap it up, I know you guys got some things in the mail last couple of days, and I got something really cool over the weekend. So with all the COVID-19 and everybody masking up, I got this really cool mask. My friend Ann Lutz. I spoke about her in the Reardon Center. She's a local artist, and she made some of these, and it's her. This is a dragonfly. I don't know if you can see it.
Did she hand paint that?
It's one of her paintings that she had put on a mask and had them printed. So anyway, this is my mask, my new mask, and you guys got one from. Tell us about the ones you guys got.
Caramel.
Yeah, we got it in my. It's right. I need to fix it. There we go. We got our mask from the Reach team, and did you ever think we'd be so excited to get masks? Anyway, the Reach team is this is a collaborative. It's called Reach, stands for Racial and Ethnic Approaches to Community Health, and we're just really proud and pleased to be working with them. The REACH program was started by the CDC in 1999 to reduce health disparities among racial and ethnic populations with the highest burden of chronic disease. And so the REACH program in Savannah is doing great things, and we're just really proud to be on the REACH team ourselves. And thanks for the mask. I'm so excited to have my mask.
It was a Healthy Savannah, and the YMCA of Coastal Georgia actually applied for that grant. And there's 60 partners-ish, right? Something like that, working with them. So
we are moving the needle with making Savannah a healthier place. And we have statistics and all sorts of data. I mean, this is a data-driven grant.
It's really a fantastic program. It works with a lot of low wealth populations and just populations across the community, really meets them where they are and removes a lot of barriers to healthy living for them. So I love the mask. I'm going to have to go beat on Paula's door. And
yours is in the mail, right?
It's in the mail. Oh my gosh. Wow, it's 9:52.
Yeah. Before we get off, I wanted to mention, and I'm sorry if it's a little noisy, my neighbors decided to power up their power tools right now. So that's why I keep muting myself. But I wanted to mention, and I was going to ask Cheryl, but I wonder if Safe Shelter is qualified for the economic industry disaster loans. You know, I'd like to maybe send her an email because, I mean, I'm sure she's probably looked into it, but I just wanted to mention that it's to further meet the needs of U.S. small businesses and nonprofits. The U.S. Small Business Economic Injury Disaster Loan, which stands for, or EIDL is what they use for that, Advanced Program Portal to eligible applications experiencing economic impacts due to COVID. There's two different programs. One offers low interest assistance for small businesses or nonprofits, and these loans can provide vital economic support to help temporary loss of revenue. And I don't have access to be able to post this to the live comments, so I'm going to put it through the private chat. I don't know if somebody can share that, but you just click on and the application's right there and you can just walk right through it. So
yeah, it would be valuable for a lot of our local nonprofits if they qualify, because so many have suffered reductions in revenue and lack of being able to have events and all that. It's really a program that if you're a nonprofit out there to look into.
Yeah,
all I can say is no.
And I think there's two different options. There's a loan that you can get up to like $10,000+ depending on how many employees you have, and it's a small interest rate, and you know, so there's that loan. But then there's also loans out there that you don't need that.
No.
And I think there's two different options. There's a loan that you can get up to like $10,000+ depending on how many employees you have.
That was weird.
I know. It's like feedback.
Sorry.
It was probably me. I was trying, multitasking. So wait, I think I got it. Is that it? Yes, here. Watch that.
Right there.
Oh my
There
gosh.
you go.
Yay.
It's easy to walk through. You just click on that link and it says, you know, are you a sole proprietor? Are you a business with so many employees? And it only takes about 10 to 15 minutes. But like I said, there's two different options. There's one that you don't have to pay back. And they had just shut down that for agricultural businesses only. And now they've reopened it to supply, you know, support to other small businesses and nonprofits as well. So
well, that website should be able to direct them, and that's a really good idea. Definitely let's reach out to Cheryl and ask if
maybe she doesn't know that they would be eligible. I mean, it's worth it to just even try. For some reason, some people get kicked out based upon maybe if they have other government support. But we should definitely let her know she might be eligible for it.
Well, work starts.
Go ahead.
No, we went way over again. Gosh, I keep thinking it's going to be a half hour, and it's like.
There's a lot to talk about. We have a lot to talk about today. We had a great program today and some great people on some two programs in the community that are absolutely necessary, and Father's Day and all that stuff. We had lots to talk about around our virtual water cooler today.
That should be our hashtag, water cooler Savannah. I really miss seeing everybody in the community. I really do.
Well, we did get to see, I'm going to close us out with this. We got to see some folks here in Isle of Hope this weekend. The Isle of Hope News and Taste of Sandfly, they promoted an island-wide garage sale this weekend. There must have been 30 or 40 homes. Ed Yannette and his group were behind that whole effort, and there must have been 30 or 40 homes on that list. We drove around the island on Saturday, and people were, you know, social distancing. They were wearing their masks. They were shopping outside. It was a beautiful day. And then over at the pool, for those that don't know, I'm president of the Isle of Hope Pool. We had Frond and Fern, which is the brainchild of, they're both from Isle of Hope, Biza and Chad Mabry, Biza Quattlebaum, Biza Mabry. She's a local artist. Her husband's an interior designer, and they have Frond and Fern, which is, the goal was for them to provide a permanent place for local artists to kind of sell their wares. And so over at the park, they did a fundraiser for the pool. And so we had all those artists out there. We had, I don't know, there was 20 some odd tents up there. And we had, you know, they were grilling burgers, and it was a good, just old fashioned community day. I was a little nervous about the social distancing aspects of it all. But again, everybody wore their masks. People were very conscious about distancing. And it was really, they're still calculating how much we raised for the pool. But it was a really great event. I'd like to bring them on one day to talk about what they do, both artists and in the community.
I actually walked by the other day. No, last night I was on my daily walk around Isle of Hope, and the pool, instead of like years ago having all the bicycles, now they're all the golf
carts.
I mean, they were just lined up. I was like, country club.
Yeah, but I mean, we're still. You know, there's some people here that I think would like us to be a country club, but we're dedicated to being very community accessible. And there's still, you know, we're still kind of circa 1975 in a lot of ways with all the bicycles.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
You want to know where all the kids are, you look where the bicycles, and they're all at the pool. And we've done a good job to, you know, people there as well are working to remain distant, and we've done put a lot of things into place there where we're able to, even though with all this COVID stuff, you know, and I'm first in line to be like, you know, but it's really mask up, and, you know, it's really, I think the whole team at the pool has done a great job to keep us safe. And this event this last weekend, it was really, really nice to have the ability to get out and see people while still being.
Oh my gosh, we're almost 10 o'clock.
We're out of time.
Yep, and I'm going to download this and make this as a podcast, so it'll be available. But anyhow, we better sign off, guys, and we better get to work. We got a busy week ahead of us. So, All right, everybody, talk to you soon.